Hey everybody. Today we're going to talk about constructors, default constructors, and constructor overloads, and why they are very useful in all cases. So I went ahead and kind of fleshed out this employee class. We're going to fill it out together. So let's give it some member fields. We're going to have a name of an employee, and then let's also give him like a job title. Okay, these two will be enough to kind of get to what we want to do. Just for fun, let's do an employee number. Right, so let's say we're kind of trying to describe this employee and they have these three things, right? So when we have a class here with nothing else in it, and maybe we can fill out some methods here in a little bit, but if we don't create a constructor, meaning we don't have that method that assigns each of these values or one of them or more of them, Java will make one for you, right? So it'll allow us to create a new employee. So let's create an employee named Tim equals a new employee. And I think I'm getting an error because I haven't saved that yet. No, that's good now. So I can create a new employee, and it has this in its back pocket, right? So we made this brand new object class called employee. Didn't define a constructor, so Java will assume that you wanted a constructor so that you can create stuff like this. And we're able to run this program, super uninteresting, makes the object and dies, and that's great and everything. Typically with a class, what you want to do is you want to have a constructor. So usually those are public, and then you want to name the constructor method the exact same as the class. And let's go ahead and set all these. Right, we're gonna give the employee a name. We're gonna give the employee a job title and an employee number. And we will define them as such. Here, this dot name equals name. This dot job title equals job title. And we will have the last one, this dot employee number equals employee number. All right, so now that we've actually fleshed out a constructor, Java thinks that you grew up and you don't need your training wheels anymore, and it will no longer have the default constructor available. So let's go back here and look. It'll go, it's not there anymore, right? There is no constructor. There's no empty constructor. You made one, so I assume that you're taking care of all the constructor stuff. So we can't use it anymore, right? So if we really wanted a blank constructor now, we would actually have to make it, right? So Java will actually help you do that. You can create the constructor here from the shortcut, but let's kind of build it out ourselves. If we really wanted to create an employee constructor which is blank, that's fine, right? Has no parameters and it doesn't do anything, right? And that's what it looks like. It's empty. Now we can use it. Okay. So now that we grew up and used, our own constructor, if we want to have an empty one, we need to specify that in the constructor sort of list here, right? And so now you can see there's two constructors, right? And that's fine. We can actually have another one. So picture you get an employee and you know their name, but you don't know anything else about them. You don't know what title they're going to have or employee number. You can create a third constructor. That's fine. We just still have to call it employee. And let's just say we only know their name. And that's totally cool. You can say this dot name equals name. That's fine. Right? So now we can actually create employees in a lot of different ways. So let's create a couple of different employees. We have to make sure they're not named Tim, Tommy, and yeah. We can use each of these different constructors. So we know that we have a constructor that takes no arguments. That's cool. We have a constructor that takes one argument. Let's use that one just for fun. This guy is going to be named Tommy. And this one is going to be, let's just use this one because we have it. Takes a name, a title, and an employee number. So this lady is Brina. Her job title is CEO. And her employee number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. So Java doesn't get confused about which constructor you want to use because it just takes in the parameter list and is able to match it to which constructor you set down here, right? So you can make as many as you want. In fact, we can make one that takes 2, right? Public employee, and it could have a string that you pass in that's a name, and you can also have the job title. So you can kind of see here, it really is just endless, right? What you can do, how many constructors you can create, any sort of combinations of the parameters that you have. You're able to do this. You will find this useful later on as you build bigger programs. For now, it's just important to know that these are called constructor overloads. We talked about overloads earlier in the year. And remember, overloads are methods that share the same name, but a different parameter list. Okay? And that way Java will never get confused as to which one you wanted, because it'll just take a look at the parameters that you passed in, and it will not have any confusion. Let's just take a look at one case that you might have confusion. Okay, let's have one more string here. Check it out. Well, no, we don't need another string. Let's say that you only knew the job title. You didn't even know what the employee's name was. So let's create another constructor here. See if you can kind of figure out what the problem is going to be. The string is going to be job title. Let's say we don't know their name, we don't know their number. You can see it's starting to bark at us already. This dot job title equals job title. Now, can you see why Java doesn't like that? I mean, to us, look at this. I mean, like, I can pass in janitor or whatever, and I know that's a job title, but what does Java think of it? It's just a string, right? So if you give me employee named Tommy, I don't know if you're talking about Tommy being his name or if Tommy being his job title. I have no idea, right? So it's gonna give us an error here. It's gonna be like, I don't know which one you're talking about, right? So let's just hover over this and see what it will tell you. Duplicate method signature, or a duplicate method employee string. So you're not allowed to create two constructors that have the same parameter signature, right? You can see that this one's employee that takes a string, this one's employee that takes a string. Not allowed to do that. So you have to make sure that the parameter signatures are different. Other than that, you can create as many constructors as you want. And remember, going back, without any constructors, the only one that you have available to you is the default constructor, which is the first one. Okay, they'll give that one to you for free. But as soon as you start making your own, right? As soon as you start making your own, you need to specify that you want the empty constructor, right? So if I delete this, it's going to have a problem with the first one, right? I don't have that anymore. I don't have the constructor with empty parameter list, right? I looked and I didn't see it, right? So just in case this ever happens to you, look at this neato shortcut. I can add, it's way down here, create a constructor that matches that parameter list, and it'll do it for you. And then it'll be like, do you want to do stuff in here? No. So that's a nice little shortcut if you ever just need to pop and create a constructor or any other method. Anyway, that's constructor overloads and default constructors for you. Hope you enjoyed this, and please let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Happy coding.